40-foot waves, that's real fear for me. That's fear. I know when to pull back in, something holds me back there. You know, pay out at 40-foot waves. I'm scared of dying, but just not inside a boxing ring.
I was worried for his health, but also I was worried for the ring in general, for his career. I just think he needed to get out of the ring and out the back and get sorted out. You know, just away from everybody.
Danny's a pretty important piece of cattle at the moment, you know. That's all. That's all. On the toes.
I believe that a guy that is in professional boxing with 16 knockouts and 16 fights, I'm just expecting to see what's going to happen, because I think that he's a demolisher.
It's going to be close.
That could become a 10-8 round. They can also disqualify him. They've called for intentional headbutt.
Well, this is bizarre scenes you're witnessing from the Nürburgring in Germany on main event television as the bottles are being tossed into the ring. Directed there at the challenger from Australia, Danny Green.
It's sort of the wild west of sports. And everything else is very much organized. The team that wins the 50 games goes into the final. And here it's on every level of it. Because they're negotiating to get to the championship, the opportunity to fight for the big fight. It's not always left to the best fighter. It's left to the best manipulated fighter, the best managed fighter, the best promoted fighter. So there's more variables in this. It's a game of grays and browns, not blacks and whites.
You roll with the punches.
I understand Marcus is a left-hand fighter.
Yeah.
He's left-handed?
He's
Southpaw. Danny's a right-handed. It happens every single fight. Because of the styles, heads are going to hit. I know it. You know it. You know it. I'm very concerned with that. I'm cautioning both corners right now. Let's watch the heads. Stop. It's going to happen. If it happens, I'll deal with it. Okay? But because of the styles, I want to say it right here in this room. I don't want any controversy tomorrow night. If there is an accidental headbutt, I will call either way, accidental or intentional, or if it's a cut caused by a punch, I will be very clear and very specific to the corners, the boxers, and the supervisor, and the boxing commission. I will make a ruling right then and there. It will be clearly articulated. Punch, accidental, or intentional headbutt.
Today, Danny Green gets his shot at the WBC World Super Middleweight title against the champion, Marcus Bayer of Germany. Marcus Bayer won the world title 4 months earlier in a disputed decision over Eric Lucas of Canada. This fight is a voluntary defense for Marcus Bayer before the rematch with Eric Lucas.
Like a cobra.
Jeff Fenech, an Australian boxing icon and Danny's childhood idol, has been integral to Danny's success so far, following a successful amateur career where he represented Australia at the 2000 Olympics. Danny has won all of his 16 professional bouts by knockout.
If I can fight the best I possibly can, then that's what I want to do. And whatever that brings is what it brings.
That's what it brings. Back it off.
Close friends and family have travelled vast distances to lend their support.
As a father, I'm supportive of Dan's boxing career. He puts a lot of time and effort into it, and he's very good at it. However, it's a very high-risk sport. Whilst Dan is remaining fit and winning, and not getting hit very often, and keeping his defence up, I'll remain supportive. However, we've discussed all possibilities, and if there's a drop-off in his speed or his ability or his fitness or whatever, we have a pact that we'll sit down and talk, and we'll agree that you have to give it up.
It's not a sport that a mother can watch, really. Some mothers can, I suppose, but I can't watch it. upsets me too much. Obviously, he's so dedicated to what he wants to do. He's got plenty of to go somewhere, and until he gets that somewhere, I think he's just going to keep going.
Jab, roll, get outside it. That's it. That's it. Beautiful. That's what it's got to come. It'll be nice and long. Right? We've got to push him off all the fucking time.
I support Green's boxing career. I love it. I love boxing. He's in boxing. Not everything to do with boxing, but I love his boxing. I've been with Green for 10 years now, and I suppose that we live on the edge, and that's the way it is. I know Green, he knows me, and I accept Green for the person he is, and that he's living on the edge. So I'm sure it's not going to change now.
The juices are flowing now as we get set for the WBC Super Middleweight World Championship fight on the 12 rounds between Danny Green and Marcus Bayer.
Australian, Danny Green, the Green Machine.
I wasn't that thrilled into the fight. I was pumped. You know, the atmosphere in there was, you know, was wicked. All you were just, you know, pumped and just excited, and, you know, it was a really, really good feeling, not just for me, for everyone in there.
Bill Clancy, the referee from the United States, calling them together.
Right now. Give me a good clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my command. Questions from the challenger. Questions from the champion. Touch gloves. Good luck.
And the fight is underway. And Danny Green trying to get one in early. Starting nicely, Danny, not showing any sign of real nerve.
Nice jab there from Danny Green.
Oh, there goes Bayer! Big right hand from Danny Green! We'll just have another look at it again. There it is.
How do we feel? Fucking good. That's what we want to feel. No, we feel great, brother.
They've got every right to be worried now, Bayer. He's felt the power of Danny Green.
You must give us room to work the corner. Please. Please give us room.
Good work, Danny. Nice.
No! Not stand here.
He's got that left hand, Danny.
Please move over. I won't have to knock you down then, brother.
A 10-8 round, according to David Birchall's card. And Danny Green coming out hard. The crowd know, and the local hope, the champ, has got some work to do. Time to respect the opponent from down under.
Cut. Someone's cut. Who's cut?
Inside, closing minute, round number 2. To this point, another Danny Green round. And he's down again for a second time. The champ goes down. It's almost looking a mismatch, if you could possibly believe it. Final seconds, round 2. We'll wait. You can score it for Danny Green again. What a start for Danny Green. That's unbelievable.
At the end of the second round, Danny is warned for an accidental headbutt.
The head clash, not headbutt, the head clash didn't touch his eye. At no stage did it go near his eye. The cut was caused in the second round by a legitimate punch. I've then worked on it with many, many blows, clean, clear blows.
Scoring the bout, 2016 David's card as we start round 3 of a schedule 12.
Good boy. Cut him off. Right hand.
And he got through there. Has Bayer on the ropes. A very good right hand there from Danny Green. Still blood coming from that right eye of Marcus Bayer there. Green's punches are really taking a toll. Bayer knows in his fight. He's trying to come back now. He's trying to land more punches this round than he has in the other previous ones. Green can counter him with those big right hands on the left hook. Chasing Bayer down there in the dying stages of round number 4. I got that round for Danny Green. I just think he landed the better punches throughout the fight. That's a bad cut. That is a bad cut there over the eyebrow.
Every punch is short.
Round number 5. And the job's still not done for Danny Green. The way that cut is, a big chance this fight could be stopped with that cut. It's bleeding again already. It's a really big cut. We see the boys throwing each other the canvas. Referee's going to warn Danny Green here for throwing his opponent on the ground.
Bayer was the one that initiated that. He held on to Green. Green just threw him over.
3 rounds after the event, the referee declares that the cut above Bayer's eye was caused by the headbutt in round 2, not by a punch.
As soon as it happens, my hands go straight up. I was telling him again, the referee again, tell the referee twice, just then go back to the job, and land a beautiful right hand that nearly dropped him again on the ropes. So then a cracker, so I went straight back to business. And I guess I was a little bit more careless. a little more anxious. Not anxious, but a little bit more, you know, like, to go, you know.
I still think Greeny's on top here. He's still leaning more to more effective punches. Blood continuing to rush from the cap of the right eye of Marcus Bayer as they work to the body now.
He can't stay! Everybody!
Well, Bill Clancy had come in and told them to stop, and he's going to deduct a point here for the headbutt. So a point deducted from Danny Green.
Yeah, Danny's got to stay real calm now. He can get disqualified here. He's up so far in this fight that he doesn't want to take the risk of getting disqualified.
He's taken 2 points. Good heavens, very unusual.
By penalising Danny 2 points, the referee ruled that Danny deliberately headbutted Marcus Bayer.
And this is fast becoming a war. Now the cut's going to be attended to here. They might stop this fight, Clinton.
And if they stop it, they could disqualify him.
They're stopping the fight. And then we've got a problem here for Danny Green. They're going to score the round. They're going to go to the judges' scores cards. Danny became quite animated the round before when the referee called that it was from a head clash and not a punch, when the cut was called earlier in the fight. Let's have a listen in.
No. He butted him after he cut him. He intentionally butted him because you'll see it on the tape. I'm not lying. Okay? I understand. We're going to the scorecard. Go to the scorecard.
Repeating, David's card read 10-8 the first, 10-8 the second for Green, 10-9 the third for Green, 10-9 the fourth for Green.
The ringside doctor argues that a second cut was caused by the intentional headbutt, and because Marcus Bayer can't continue, there is no need to go to the scorecard. Danny Green should be disqualified.
At one stage, Heide came over to me, Angelo came over and says, Greenie, just relax, mate, just relax. He says, they're going to scorecards, you got it, mate, you're the champ. And I went, still makes me smile, I went, what, say that again? That's relax, mate, you're the champ. Couldn't speak, mate. Wicked. The green belt getting put around my waist and
Joke. This is a fucking joke. This is a joke. No,
in the most unbelievable, incomprehensible of fashion, Marcus Bayer has retained his world championship.
But now the respect for that green belt's been tarnished. And also my outlook on the sport's been tarnished even more.
The easiest fucking fight in your whole life, then. The easiest fight you've ever had against the world champion. The fucking easiest fight of the whole life.
Boys, relax, alright? I'm not a fucking champion, I'm a fucking idiot. Just let it leave there.
It's not going to change. I'm not going to give the belt back if you go crazy. I learned a big lesson from that. I learned the biggest lesson of my life. So I did learn one thing from it. Is, I guess, how to control myself. How to control the most anger and rage I've ever felt in my life.
Yeah, they talk to one, mate.
Oh, damn, come on. You know, you can be hard on yourself, you can tame yourself. You'll do a couple of miles and tame.
It doesn't matter. Have I got a belt? Firstly, I'm disappointed the way the fight's ended. No intention of doing that, having the fight end that way. It's very disappointing. I prefer to have WBC put around my waist. Whether it was in the next round or the round after that, eventually it would have worn Marcus down. I don't believe that, Marcus Bayer would have lasted the distance. He didn't do it with any punches, and my strength was just getting better and better. I was wearing him down because he was tired from the punches he was taking, the punishment he was taking. I don't know how he's going to sleep tonight, knowing that the belt's not his. It should be around my waist.
I just say you're the better fighter. Yeah, why you don't boxing when the referee says fuck? you boxing after the referee said great, you boxing, he said stop, you boxing, he said stop, you wrestle, and so all that stuff. Why didn't you do that?
To be honest, I guess I was a little bit heated, a little bit pumped up for my first world title fight, so I guess I may have been a little bit excited and overanxious, so yeah, it's a good question. And no intentional, at no time did I intend or did we intend at all before the training camp and before the fight, was there any intention to do anything dirty? We come from a very clean background, we're clean fighters, and it's just unfortunate that it's happened that way, and I guess you can maybe put down to being a little bit over anxious.
You were winning the fight and now. It's just unfortunate. Very unfortunate. But you know what? Your 17th pro fight. Son, you got a long way to go. I couldn't believe you were destroying. And I think you just were righteous. I really do. You were very hyped up.
I stole my gold. I got him twice.
You had a hand. You had a hand. And it was my decision to make that call. The doctor tells me.
You couldn't see in the fourth round. You couldn't see how bad that cut was. Are you telling me what? Are you telling me that?
No.
Come on, mate. This is a joke.
But I do know.
This is a sham.
It was a safe cut.
This is a sham.
But I will tell you, there was no question you were dominating the fight. There was no question.
This is terrible, mate.
Red. In the end, it's what cost me a world title. Being careless, being reckless, overexcited, over anxious. That's something that cost me. Corruption cost me the world title. Due to my carelessness, that's that before I finished.
Das war's hier von der Veranstaltung Boxen Meet.
They're talking with Eddie, I know what he's talking about. Trying to justify that he's a champion still. And he got flogged. Every round he got flogged. Dropped twice. You roll the punches.
I think about it every minute of the day. All day, every day. When I go to bed, when I wake up, when I'm in the shower, when I'm scrubbing my teeth, all that kind of stuff. I think about it all the time. The most annoying thing is having to explain to them, not annoyed at them, annoyed at the situation. Having to explain what happened, why it happened, and what's next when I don't know. And yeah, that sucks. Instead of saying, yeah, I'm the WC world champion, instead of saying that if things had gone the way I wished they had, then, you know, that's what I like to be saying, but I'm not. That's life, you move forward.
A lot more that goes on behind the scenes than it goes into the ring. That's the smallest part. That's the tip of the iceberg. What the public doesn't see in here is far more important to the outcome of the fight than what goes on between the two boxers.
Go to Moscow for the WBC convention where they have all the disputes and the discrepancies that may happen in decisions in fights. That's where they're heard. Going in there and saying that there isn't a winner in this fight. Marcus Bay didn't win the fight. You disqualified me. There's no winner. We went there thinking that the WC would give us the rematch directly, and we'd go to Germany and fight Bayer again.
We also not happy with this thing, especially Marcus. He was not happy at all. So the first thing we did, we said, let's have a return match. Yeah, and we offered a return match. We even signed a contract.
Then the Canadians popped up and said, well, that's not going to happen because we've already taken the WBC to court. We're going to make sure we get the rematch on 22nd of November. The Germans thought we were just a bunch of dumb Aussies who were going to go there and just That's all we had, was just the rematch, and that, you know, we were going to fight tooth and nail for the rematch. What they didn't realise is we negotiated with the Canadians and backed all the Germans and done their own, played them at their own game, and just played them a lot better than they thought we would.
And then at the WBC meeting, they said, no, Marcus has to fight Lucas first before he has to fight Green. And I was fighting for Green to be first. Yeah? But then, at the convention, Green signed already a contract with the Canadians. I think it was with the Canadians. So I was then put into a position that I was the only one fighting for this fight. Yeah? The Australians really patting my back. And that's why then Lucas was the first choice.
The Lucas fight came about because Bayer postponed his fight again because his eye got infected. They couldn't give the Canadians a date the fight was going to be held on. Canadians approached WBC and said, we want to fight Danny Green for the interim World Championship. Whoever wins that fights Bayer on the 28th of February. If Bayer doesn't make that date, they've said he's stripped the title and the interim champion becomes the world champion. The whole time there was just cameras in our faces, we're just walking along, so it was kind of bizarre. It was different to Germany. This was different, this was a big deal, you know, this was big news in Canada. And so I felt Wednesday we had a public training session, which was, you know, it was pretty good, it was a bit of a buzz.
You know, we didn't choose Danny Green. We were forced to fight Danny Green. We don't choose on voluntary defense a guy who's got a 16 wins by knockout in 16 fights. You know, Marcus Bayer made that mistake and paid a price for it.
We had a bit of a laugh when we were training, we didn't give too much away. It was a real world title fight because, you know, they were watching us and you could see they were watching us, and then I'd look over to see if they were watching me and they were like, you know, do this. So I could tell they were starting to get a little bit nervous.
He didn't deserve to be this fight. So for me, Danny Green is the best boxer in the division with Eric Luca. So the fight will be the two best boxers.
Luca overextends and oversteps. He almost jumps in. If he does that on one of Danny's rights, it's all over. Even a stiff left hook, I can hold him up.
167.5. And the great man!
Lucas was a superstar. You know, I was going out there to beat him and people wanted to know who I was. A lot of people didn't even know who I was. A lot of people thought I was black.
He doesn't lose in Montreal. You take what you want from that.
He doesn't lose this time. I'm looking forward to beating him in Montreal. That's going to give me extra motivation to beat him in his hometown for 15,000 screaming fans. He said he's not sure of his future if he loses. Well, he's going to go to bed very uncertain Saturday night.
I also read, and I saw in the newspaper, and I heard that this Danny Green is training for David Crocodile. So that means he probably knows Mike Duncan. Yes. And he's a good friend. So I guess he probably can tell the time by watching the sun. He also probably can stop a bull by moving the finger.
So I do that every week and I dive off him. Focusing on the job at hand, and I've come over here to Canada to take the WBC World title home back to Australia. And that's basically what I have to say.
Following the controversy in Germany, Jose Sulaiman, the WBC president, is on hand to oversee preparations for the fight.
I am tremendously impressed about Danny Green. I believe that a guy that is in professional boxing with 16 knockouts in 16 fights practically, and the only one that he lost, he knocked down 3 times the champion. That is impressive, and I'm just expecting to see what's going to happen because I think that he's a demolisher.
In the pre-fight build-up, humour goes a long way to diffuse the tension.
No one was flying back to Thursday night.
Fall back to first man, please.
When you get paid, she wants half with your fall back. She said, chuck the Missouri, but she's pretty good looking.
When you hit the change room, there's no turning back. And the boys come in the room and the chews are going. We've always been hanging around everything. Nerves are in, mate. The nerves are in.
Moments before Danny is due to enter the arena, Jeff is asked to sign a contract for the rematch with Marcus Bayer. It contains options for Danny's next 4 fights. These are the terms that the Germans agreed to for the interim title fight to take place. Jeff agrees to sign the contract on the condition that the 4 options are not included. The WBC representative agrees.
Then I warmed up and we chilled out, and I sat down and I turned the music up right up and I said, right boys, I'm the one fighting here, you guys are all freaking out here. I said, I'm nice and relaxed, I want you all to dance. So everyone start dancing. Whoever doesn't dance, leave the room. So listen, dance mate, everyone, come on, just get them all dancing. That was crazy, and everyone had a massive smile on their face. And then that was it, so we stopped dancing, let's go.
God bless Danny tonight. May he be on your side, mate. You deserve everything you get out of this stuff. I love you to death, mate. Please get out there. Keep your head, mate, and just do the job and you'll do it easy. I love you, brother. God bless you, brother. Bless you.
Walked out to the entrance, to this big entrance where we walk out in the venue. We were standing there and we weren't ready to go out. We had to wait about 3 or 4 minutes, 5 minutes to go out there. We were just standing there and the music was pumping, the crowd was going off. They were waiting for it because they were just waiting for, you know, the fight coming up. It was huge. The atmosphere, and I was the visitor, and the atmosphere for me was electric, beyond electric. And the camera got put in, so the whole stadium saw it. And they started cutting those things, and then they chant, Luka, 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 and that's very good. For me, it was, you know, people were speaking on it. It was pretty volatile, but to me, it was just like, that just made me go, just lift. I started going, clapping with the crowd and going, you know, bring it on. You know, and that was exciting. That was making him go mad. I like, this guy's, you know, throwing it in our face. We're trying to intimidate him and he's throwing it back in our face, and I was just loving it. You know, you pick all, you know, everything. You pick everything out. Everyone's emotions, faces, the film, you soak it all in. And he got in the ring and it was just deafening. It was just unbelievable. You just can't explain. It was like 1,000,000 volts of electricity just gone, shot in my feet, up through my toe, up through my feet, through my knees, up through my hips, up through my groin, up here, up through my heart, but didn't go. Stayed here, stayed up here, and stayed here. The first 2 rounds didn't go my way. I realised I lost the first 2 rounds. And I went back to the corner after round 2, knowing I lost both rounds. And I was thinking, what's going on? I'm thinking 2 rounds down, this guy's getting stronger.
this is going to be, this is not what I want. This is not what I want to be after 2 rounds.
Every time you hurt him with it. We didn't stop him with it, we hurt him with it. So let's put the pressure on the right hand. The right hand needs the left hook.
It's never panic, which is important. So I never panic. Halfway through round 3, I'm thinking to myself as I'm starting to get, pick it up a little bit. I'm going, what's going on? You can do this. And I saw a punch coming. I said, there you go, you just saw that punch coming. That was a good punch you threw. You just saw it. I'm talking myself through this while I'm slipping and ducking a couple of other punches. I started to see his punches coming, thinking, you saw that coming, and I'm talking to myself. And I'm also at the same time thinking what it's going to be like sitting in economy class on the way back home to Australia. Sitting in economy class with my head bowed, feeling very sore and sorry, sick, sore, sorry, depressed, and angry. And then I've gone bang bang, hit him with a couple of good shots, boom, and then moved off and gone bump bump, and moved to his punches and heard Jeff and the little boys go, yeah, and I'm going, yeah, I've just hit him, and flipped him, gone bang bang, counter his shots. And then I visioned sitting in first class with my world title belt on like sitting in front of me, kicking back with a with a coffee and whatever, watching the movies, looking over at Nina going, yeah, you feel good, yeah, he's sweet, first class, I said, it's good, And while I'm thinking that, I'm slipping, punching, getting punched, and this is all going through my head. This is all going through my head, and as clear as day. 5th and 6th round, I go forward, dropped him, hooked him, smashed him, that's it, he quit. And the electricity goes, that's when it comes out, because it's suppressed in there, which gives me the energy to fight and do it, and slowly getting that energy coming out of me, that electricity coming out when I'm fighting. But then when the decision, that's when it goes, and it's just like, that's when I'm going, just going crazy. You just don't know what to do, the feeling is so exciting. Made Germany worthwhile. It's what's made every run, every broken bone, every bit of doubt, every bit of disappointment, every bit of fear, every bit of anguish, every bit of hurt, every bit of disappointment, every bit of any negative thing that's gone in my boxing career or my life, anything, all just seemed worthwhile and just justified why I boxed. That one feeling, I would have done it for free.
And I reckon that only had the best Christmas of my life in one of the college. First of all, what dedicated for my grandfather Tom, my mother's father Tom passed away about 2 months ago, and he obviously would have been down the green club watching it. So respect Tom, this one's for you, mate. Love you.
Great to get out there, mate. It was all emotional, and during the fight, between rounds, I can honestly tell you that I reflected on Tommy and his relationship with Dan, and I just hope he can do it for Tom.
Hi darling, you seen on TV? You seen on TV? I love you, darling.
Lucas had a contract for $450,000 to fight the rematch with Bayer in Germany. He foresaw that, he forswore that in order to go back and fight the interim title of Green. What a tremendous mistake, and he got destroyed. And they paid Danny $300,000 for the privilege of destroying him. So this is really have they miscalculated this guy Green. It's amazing.
Before Danny can take the belt home, he must submit to a mandatory drug test. The testing gear.
Yeah, but no. on there, that's warm.
Yeah, you be going to be mad, brother.
Does it have serial number? Or not? They just don't have serial number on it.
No, it's got nothing in it. There's no number to say what it is on. See, look, it's not even fucking sealed, mate. There's piss everywhere. Fucking bullshit. That's a fucking joke.
Look at that. The piss is coming out of the seal. You're a doctor.
This is bullshit.
Tensions are further strained when news arrives that the promoters are going to withhold Danny's prize money, claiming he breached their contract by wearing advertising on his back during the fight.
Have you got this money? Yeah, but that's a matter for litigation, Mario. That's nothing to do with him performing the fight. What about I mean, how can they hold up the money? Ian said he's going to work it out with Yvonne and he'll pay him. And they agree to pay him. Let me see what happens with that, and then I'll bring you back. Now, what about the urine test?
It's fucked up, Jeff.
You just told Mario.
Look what they did in Germany, and look what they're doing in here now. We're paranoid for a reason.
You've got to still pay me. If you want to take them to court for litigation, you can do that.
I don't get paid. No one leaves this fucking room. And I fucking swear to God, I got robbed in Germany, and if you think I'll get robbed here, I'll die before I get robbed again. Don't touch me, mate. I'm fucking filthy.
Jesus Christ, come on, over here! Don't touch me!
Nobody's pulling my boy's fucking booty. We got fucking booty. Come on, Jeff. Yeah, don't touch me.
That's cowboy shit. That's cowboy shit, mate. You know, it's a disgrace.
We're not better than Germany. These people are not better than Germans, let me tell you.
Now you go and get a fucking test sample and I'll piss in it. But I'm not fucking hanging around for this shit. It's a fucking joke.
I told you half an hour ago that I agree with you.
Well, we're still here. It's a disgrace. We should be home celebrating. Instead, look what we're doing.
At the end of the day, Danny was paid his full contractual fee. He was not required to submit to a drug test due to the lack of official testing equipment, and he flew home first class. The promotion company responsible for the fight went into receivership.
Feeling of getting that belt, having it in Germany, having it taken away from you, but then getting it in Canada. It was better in Canada winning even if I won in Germany. You know, because the odds were against me again. It made my dad proud, made my family proud, my mates, my country, everyone, every backstrapper that's given me a well wish in the past. I've made them happy, I've made them proud. And to me, that's just as important as making me feel proud because it's just, it just matters.
America is where the big money fights are for successful boxing. Following his victory in Canada, the Americans have begun to take notice of him. Lou DiBella, one of the biggest promoters in the States, is talking about offering Danny a lucrative US TV fight deal. This could launch Danny as an international fighter and into the big money fights.
I know you want to help us. Go in there and help us, and we'll do this deal together.
The rematch with Bayer now isn't the only option.
He'll be the next superstar. I think he'll be the next undisputed world champion, super middleweight.
On the 21st, we'll be fighting Sean Sullivan. That will show the whole of Australia that fighting Danny Green is completely different to fighting anything I do.
There is also a lot of expectation in the press for a local fight with fellow Australian Anthony Mundine. Jeff's personal and ongoing feud with Anthony has afforded Danny plenty of exposure. Together with his feats inside the ring, Danny has gained a national media profile and fan base as a result of the rivalry with Mundine. Instead of returning immediately to Germany, Jeff and Danny opt to fight a warm-up bout on home soil in Perth. Sean Sullivan is chosen as their next opponent. Sean fought a dogged 10-round battle with rival Anthony Mundine some months earlier. A knockout victory for Danny would guarantee bragging rights over Mundine.
While some boxing experts believe the fight's a mismatch, Green remains cautious.
I'm not looking to knock him out, I'm just looking to beat him. He's gone, 12 rounds on 15 occasions, I've gone 8 rounds won.
I believe I've got the guy here to my left that can be the first person ever to knock out Sean Sullivan.
Thanks a lot, buddy. Very much. No matter what. Okay, mate.
Thanks a lot, buddy. It's like the hometown boy coming home. I win this fight, there's no more hometown heroes. It's in the gutter. From the penthouse to the shithouse, mate. Like Jeff says, it's a very quick route. I'm aware of that, mate. Like I've gone from security to, relatively well known around Perth and stuff. Like, people know who I am because of place on the paper. But back then, it's like that. That's why I want to keep my friendship with my friends and my family the way it is and the way it was and the way it should be. Because they're the ones that'll be there when I finish.
I love you and I'll see you soon because Mum's going to get picked up.
Love you, though. He's Mum.
18 months earlier, Danny and a few longtime friends formed Green Machine Promotions to capitalize on his boxing career. The financial rewards can be greater for an entrepreneurial boxer, but with it comes added pressure. As a promoter, Danny shoulders the responsibility for an entire event, not just his own performance in the ring. This is their third promotion.
Yeah, just wants to relax.
Greeny's preparation for this fight probably hasn't been the best out of all his fights. Just from the aspect that he's been injured a lot more, a lot more on his mind than he's to deal with at the moment compared to other fights. For other fights, big fights, he's gone into camp and just totally isolated himself, where this time it's been a lot different.
Two injuries I've never had to deal with like before, so it's different. It's just it's a hard fight for me because everyone expects me to cruise and the pressure's on me now.
No worries, huh? Good luck. Danny's a pretty important piece of cattle at the moment,
There's also the Greeny going to Germany and trying to get the WBC Undisputed World Championship, or maybe going to America and fighting Charles Brewer for the WBO. And then hopefully after that maybe the American DiBella trying to put the two titles together, so WBA and the WBO, so then they can put the Mundine fight on.
The Germans are telling Lou DiBella and stuff that we've got a contract and that we're not going to be able to get out of it. But as far as I'm concerned, I can do what's right for Danny. If I think that going to America and relinquishing his WBC title is the way to go, and if that's the case, if we've got a clean state, then they're clean and talk. If there's an option, or if there's a road bump there, there's a hump in the road, well then I'll think twice about it,
So there's a lot of things in the woodwork, but nothing's come about yet.
Promises in boxing happen every day,
With so many avenues open, the future looks certain. Flights have been booked for New York to discuss possible American options after the fight.
To have 5,000 people to sell the stadium out before the fight even goes ahead is indication, I guess, to the fans. They appreciate what I do, inside and outside the ring, and I'm just very proud and also want to repay the faith they've shown me by, continuing going on and doing bigger and better things, and it starts on Sunday afternoon.
His name is Danny Green.
powerful style, and he's not afraid of anybody.
Better watch his head. In the early rounds, Danny completely dominates his opponent. Several times, it looks as though Sean might succumb to the beating he is sustaining.
They're doing the damage. Sullivan's still got that bemused look on his face. Oh, there's that uppercut again.
Just been extremely finished his fifth, and that's the key tactic there. He's got to pick his shot.
In the 6th round, Danny begins to show signs of fatigue. His body appears to lose colour, and despite dominating the fight, Danny looks like he is in trouble. At the end of the round, he mistakenly walks towards the neutral corner.
Some little abnormalities that Danny his breathing patterns weren't real good, and he began to not swallow water properly. To be honest, I'm not a doctor, so I didn't really know what was happening.
Is Jeff more focused on a knockout than Danny's head?
I thought maybe he was a little bit heartbreaking. We want to go out there and try and knock him out. Obviously, we wanted to do that.
Round number 9.
It'd be nice to see Danny Green fight more on the outside in this round. To keep Sullivan off with the jab and set it up.
For me, it just seemed to go forever. It became a nightmare. It just seemed, I don't know, he just looked like he was getting sluggish and he was getting tired. It just didn't look like he had his normal green spark.
I do vaguely remember thinking, I'm that tired, I feel that exhausted, that I'm just going to push through it. And I just kept pushing. I've got to push through to get the next win. Then push through to about the 2nd, 3rd, 4th win.
The only thing that let him go out there was that he was winning so convincingly. During no stage during the fight did he get hit and get hurt.
I let my father down. I let my coach Jeff Fanning down. I let my mum down. And I let my little daughter down. But, I got my heart out. I'm just going to need to beat tonight. I'll be able to even get you a day to do the work, that's for sure. Thanks for the support. Thanks for Australia. It wasn't much.
Hardly feeling on top of the world, Danny Green, the winner of a 10-round slugfest, but the champion felt his Kiwi opponent was the victor. The local lad clearly in a state of confusion, his body and mind running on empty.
I do remember thinking that I'd lost by knockout. I lost the fight by knockout because I couldn't remember what was going on. I'm thinking, holy shit, I've just come to. This guy's knocked me out in my home crowd. I was shocked and devastated. And that's obviously when the speech, I have to apologise for him for such a poor performance. Well, apparently I just put up a great performance and fought a great fight and flogged this guy through some lovely punches and pushed and pushed and pushed.
That 10 rounds is going to make Danny Green a whole lot better fighter, and we've only got 8 rounds before. Danny's obviously a little dehydrated there, but short enough to make him fight. And I take my head up too short, and I thought that we could have knocked you out.
At the time, I was really, really worried for Greeny. But I was worried for his health, but also I was worried for Green in general, for his career, that I just think he needed to get out of the ring and out the back and get sorted out, just away from everybody. He had people coming up trying to get his autograph when he was, vomiting in the ring. It just was out of hand.
Coaching was a junior kid at footy, and he was never ever going to be an Eagle, but there was never anybody that come anywhere near giving his all. I mean, he just didn't know when to stop. And his trainers all said the same thing, you don't have to tell him to do this, you have to tell him to stop. And he's prepared, and last night he showed me how far he's prepared to go to get a world championship, and I'm saying it's not worth that. He's dehydrated, mate. He doesn't know what's going on. He's lost his sense of, he's in a state of unconsciousness where he knows he's away, but he doesn't. It's a false state.
Once you got in the back room with another story, that's when. At first, I just thought, I thought that Greeny's been punched in the head, and this was it. It was all, this is the way Greeny was going to be forever, because he was spinning out, and some of the stuff he was saying was not normal. And it just didn't matter if it was his dad or me or anyone. He just couldn't get grips on anything. Like it took 40 minutes being in the change room to convince him he'd won the fight. And then he started laughing, and we'd all sit down and go, oh, hallelujah, everything was going to be fine. And then got in a tangent again of crying and saying his head was going to explode, and he never felt so hot, and just, 1,000 different emotions all in 10 minutes.
Get the fuck out! Now! Dad, you here? No, please get out, mate. It's perfect. Let's go. Man's here. Let's go.
Noel Patterson is a very, very well respected doctor. He said it was the worst case of heat stroke he'd ever seen. And he said you were very close to actually dying. He said we could have lost.
Actually, I found out later that Challenge Stadium should have had an ambulance there, but they didn't. So in general, they should have one waiting. Or even Greenwich Installations maybe should have organised having an ambulance waiting just in case.
But I was very concerned then, and I had never, ever gone near the ring at the end of the fight, ever. But as a mother, I was extremely concerned for my child. And I just went up to the ring, and I just touched his hand and I kissed it. And I was very scared.
I'm weighing up in my own mind what advice, we're going to chat over the next couple of days, do you want to ever put yourself in that situation again? And the answer's got to be 1,000% no. So,
It truly was frightening.
Very frightening.
If I was faced with 40-foot weights, that's real fear for me. That's fear. I know when to pull back then. Cut the holes back there. I pay out 40-foot weights. So I'm scared of dying. But just not inside a boxing room.
Time that Danny took off to recover from the Sullivan fight, the American offer stopped coming, and Marcus Bayer lost his world crown to little-known Italian Christian Sanabia.
going to change a few things. I've got a few things that we're going to talk about, and I think that he's doing far too much when he comes out, and I think that when you become a promoter and a fighter, you've got to be somebody very, very special. And I think Dan's a very tough guy, but I don't think he's a Roy Jones. So I think that it's maybe time that he concentrates more on just his training, his fighting, and learns to trust the people who are there with him, and he just does his job and we do ours, and whatever happens, happens.
First training session back in over 2 months, nearly 10 months. It's hard work out, huh? It was good, I feel good now. I'm back in on now, mate. We're here tomorrow morning, 7:30. That's it, it's a mental thing. It's when you want to come back. I wanted to come back, so I was up earlier than normally. I was up half an hour earlier than normally get up. The gym 10 minutes earlier than normally am. Just keen, you know. Been away for too long. This is my office.
But just as Danny is getting back on his feet, Jeff is now facing a deadly threat of his own.
Under fire. Get ready to target the drive-by shooting.
This latest incident follows a stabbing earlier on in the year outside his own restaurant. Jeff says the two events are unrelated. Police are not so sure.
You can go around and shoot someone's house up, and who knows in there, the chances of getting the person you're after is going to be 10 to 1. That's full of kids. Just lucky they weren't there that night. They were supposed to be there last night, they weren't there. So, it's crazy, mate. And as far as why, who, what, I don't know. I just told Graham Jeff and said, Jeff, you don't want to worry about anything else but your 3 kids and your wife and yourself, and that's it. Forget everything.
Danny's next fight is in a large tent in Penrith.